Alright guys, you already know what time it is. It's time for part 2 of the response to Shaun the Legend here. He wanted the video. You guys wanted the video. You got it past 10 likes. So we're going to do it. We're going to hop right into it. But first, Shaun, you seem like a great dude, man. We had a good conversation in the comments. You wanted me to do it, so here it is. We're going to do it. But before we start here real quick, I just want to say, guys, please watch the entire video or as much of it as you can. Don't just watch 3 minutes. I can see in my retention time that you guys are only watching like 3 to 5 minutes. And if you're going to make a comment, can you please at least watch the entire video? That's just all I ask, or at least as much of it as you can before you make that comment. That'd be awesome. So I was going to plan on releasing this video on the 14th, being today, hopefully, but I ran into some issues, unfortunately, with the editing process. I had to re-record some stuff. Hopefully this comes out today, but we'll see. It kind of depends on YouTube. And for anyone who's curious, my videos get reviewed by YouTube, and it takes about 2 to 3 hours for them to review it. I'm not sure why. To check for all the restrictions. So yeah, as small of a channel as mine does get reviewed for videos, if anyone's interested. Anyways, we're going to do part 2. I think I found the spot where I left off from. I'm still new to this editing stuff, so I'm getting there, but let's just hop right into the video. You already know what's about to happen. I need you guys to like, comment, subscribe, especially subscribe. I want to get up to like 500 subscribers pretty soon so I can actually engage with you guys with the community post. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but you need at least 500 subscribers to get to the community tab. Like, it doesn't exist on my channel if you go look at it, but I really want to engage with you guys directly on this app. So if we can get up to 500 subscribers, super cringe, I know, like not great, but I want to get there just so I can engage with you guys directly here instead of through Twitter or something else like that. I think that would be awesome. I want to make community posts. I want to have an open dialogue. I want to debate stuff. That's the type of community I want to create. If you go and look in the comments in my previous video, I've been reiterating that over and over again. This is the type of community. So if you enjoy my videos, if you hate my videos, maybe subscribe, maybe we can talk, maybe we can have a discussion about it. Unlikely, I know, but it would be awesome if you guys could do that. But anyways, let's continue on into the video here. This is going to be a little bit jarring. I'm going to start off right from where the point left off that I cut off. My bad, man. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit jarring. So we'll just start right in the middle of it, right from where I left off. He's talking about, and if you watch my last video, you'll know. He's talking about why this game isn't for casuals, essentially.
Why would they make their hard mode this challenging by giving enemies super armor or, too much health as you put it and stuff? Like, that would literally detract from the experience for casuals, probably even on normal, because it seems like you're struggling with it even on normal. I mean, they would literally probably be soft locked playing this darn game because they probably wouldn't be able to get good enough. If this was designed for casuals so darn much, then they wouldn't put these elements in it. Now, later on in the video, and this is a point that a lot of reviewers have brought up about God of War Ragnarok, he's going to mention how when you're doing puzzles, certain characters that you're with, like your companions and stuff, will straight up just give you the answer. Answer? Oh boy, sorry about that. Answer to the darn.
That's super relatable, man. Honestly, I do that stuff all the time. Answer? Yeah, no, I stumble over my words. I mumble. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm not going to shit on you for that at all because I would be a hypocrite if I did, but let's continue.
Solution literally like within a minute of you trying to solve the darn puzzle, and they do this pretty much every darn time, and it gets annoying. And I gotta admit, it is really annoying when your companions literally just solve the darn puzzle for you or tell you what to do literally within a minute of you just trying to figure things out, getting the hang of it, and then boom, all of a sudden they just tell you the equation right there. Now that is pretty darn annoying, and I don't know why the developers would put an option like this in here. Well, not even an option. They would put something like this in here and not make it like optional, is what I'm trying to say, because there's not even setting to turn that type of stuff off.
So it makes you question why the gear system even exists. Well, I feel like the obvious answer is the same answer that you could give for any modern game that has crafting or a million side quests or activities scattered throughout the map. The AAA industry all copy off of each other. They see what works for one company and they steal some of those concepts and add it to their game. They call it feature creep, right? And while personally I hate crafting, I actually usually like RPG mechanics. They're just too bare bones in these last two games. So now that we've talked about combat pretty thoroughly, it's time we talk about level design. This is not going to be a long section because the level design is very simple and exactly the same for every realm in the game. Stop me if you've heard this one before. It's a set of combat arenas connected with linear hallways. Everything that's in between a combat encounter is either a puzzle or a minor optional little side pathway that has a treasure chest at the end. I know a shit ton of you are going to have no problem with this whatsoever. You might not even notice that it's all a bunch of linear hallways.
Okay, one thing I do like more in the OG trilogy for sure, when compared to the new God of War games, is the level design, especially the level design in God of War 2 and 1. They had some brilliant level design at times for a hack and slash game. Now that's one thing I will definitely agree on, is that the level design and stuff was much better back then in the older OG trilogy of the God of War games compared to Ragnarok in 2018. I will stand by that point as well, that the level design in the older games were much better back then.
But
That's fair, man. You made a good point there. I'm glad that there's a civilness in this for sure. Like, a lot of the time you just have reviewers that just don't focus on any of the good points at all because they just want to shit all over someone, and I appreciate that, honestly. I appreciate the fact that you did that like that. I wish that more people were like this, so good on you. I know this has started off pretty positive and it's not really a critique at this point, but I had to give props where props are due, you know. But anyways, let's continue on.
I just want to remind you that back when Final Fantasy 13 came out, everyone called it Final Hallway 13, and the resemblance is truly uncanny.
Michael. Yeah? Try going right.
I'm safe and serene here.
I can't go right. Hey, Michael. Yeah? Try going left. I can't go left. Hey, Michael. Yeah? Try to play the game.
We nearly took each other's heads off. But he's sorry.
I thought I was playing the game, John. But I've been using the wrong controller the whole time.
This is like video game donkey levels of out of context gameplay. He really just tried to prove his point by showing a flashback cutscene with Kratos and his fucking wife.
Okay, here we go. Here's the problem with that. Why are those fun to just hold forward on? Like, I totally agree with Synthetic Man on this. Like, it's not fun. Like, just make it a cutscene, you know? At least, you know? Like, it's not fun to just hold forward on the button on the... Wow. It's not fun to hold forward on the analog stick and listen to dialogue. And honestly, I thought that this scene was super boring. I don't remember a single thing from it. And I played this alone by myself. Well, my girlfriend was sitting beside me, and she was not paying attention, but I was bored. I don't remember what was said. I know that it is vaguely about her trying to get him to do what she wants, to raise him in a certain way, I think. I don't know. But yeah, it's boring. It's not memorable. And I think that's more where he was trying to get at with the point, you know? At least that's how I saw it. But yeah, let's continue.
Are you serious right now? A flashback cutscene with his dead wife where they're not letting you really explore and you're just on an on-rail segment rowing the boat while not you, but Kratos and his darn wife sit here and talk and have a flashback moment because she's dead. Like, God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, okay, have very much good amount of freedom in it for you to explore in their darn world, okay? Like, Final Fantasy 13 does not give you nearly as much freedom in exploration to go around and do things in its world as God of War 2018 and Ragnarok does at all. Like, are you serious right now? You can travel to all 9 realms seamlessly whenever you darn.
I wouldn't say seamlessly in 2018. I know this is a bit of a nitpick, but you have to go. I really thought it was very tedious to have to go to the world tree or whatever it is and move the dial around every single time. Like, that was really annoying to have to do. Like, this new form of fast travel when you go to the door with the stone is so much better in my opinion. I did appreciate that part in the game. I will give the game props for that, because going back to one set point every single time and being forced to travel in between realms that way instead of just using them. I think in the previous game those doorways were just used to travel within the realm. And yeah, like I personally thought it was horrible in the 2018. I know it's a nitpick, but anyways.
Want to go do side quests, go fight all these darn many different bosses, okay, solve all these darn puzzles, look for all this hidden gear and loot. Like, Final Fantasy 13 does not give you nearly as much freedom to do all of this as God of War 2018 and Ragnarok does, okay? Like, are you serious right now? And I freaking love Final Fantasy 13 as much as people hate that darn game for some odd reason. I don't know.
And now this has become increasingly common in any single-player game that doesn't feature a sandbox. Now, these last 2 God of War games have featured both, sort of, anyway. The mini sandboxes are just islands connected by a glorified loading screen, so it's not all that different, but at least it has the illusion of exploration, right? Which is much better than the hallways. I'm not shitting on it. If you see a treasure chest right across an invisible wall that you could just feasibly jump over, which of course you can't fucking jump in half of modern games either, which is just bizarre. Everything feels like a hallway in a circle and a hallway in a circle in this game, and there's only so many ways I can complain about that before it gets tiresome. Just know that I'm not asking for another sandbox or open world. I'm just asking for a little bit more player interactivity, a little bit more actual control over the game. Player choice, right? I know it's a bit of a meme term, but when you restrict my controls so heavily by putting invisible walls everywhere, it makes the game less fun every single time without exception.
So you admit that God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok have this open sandbox, semi-open worldish design where you can travel to different realms and stuff pretty much seamlessly, but then you want to sit here and act like it's all just, you know, one giant land that's hidden by a darn loading screen. Like, does the concept of the 9 Norse realms being completely different places just not exist to you in your head? Like, come on. Now, your whole point about how you're not able to jump over this clearly visible chest and get to it right over there by, you know, a bunch of just rubble and stuff blocking your path because for some reason you can't jump or just simply walk over there behind this darn invisible wall in God of War Ragnarok is actually a very good point. But then you completely made it, you know, kind of just dumb when you said that most of modern games don't allow you to jump for some reason, when there's a bunch of modern games that allow you to jump. We got Dying Light 2, we got pretty much every Call of Duty game, as much as I really don't want to bring those up. We got Bayonetta 3, okay, we got Astral Chain, all right, we got Metroid Dread, like, come on, man. DMC 5. There's a bunch of modern games that allow you to jump, all right? Let's not try and act like God of War Ragnarok is killing gaming or whatever, okay? Like, just chill out.
So we might as well talk about the puzzle.
So, yeah, that's true to an extent, but think about the last big AAA game being Last of Us 2. Could you jump in that one? No, you couldn't jump in that. You had to wait for a queue. Same with Last of Us. You know, I know that's an older one, 2013. But still, though, like, there is a lot of games that don't allow you to jump. And yeah, it is, especially for someone like him that appreciates the games like similar to Ratchet and Clank, you know, when you have that freedom, you know, it doesn't seem as satisfying when you're stuck like this, you know, like it feels like you're limited in your gameplay. And for sure, he kind of takes away from it by saying that it's most of them which isn't the case. There's just a lot of them, you know, and it's his point is that it's not very fun. That's what he was trying to get at. So I think this is a bit of a nitpick for sure, on Sean's side. But let's continue on with the video.
Too. I fucking hate the puzzles. Every single puzzle has the same exact solution.
I hated the puzzles too as well. I'm just gonna stop right there and say that. I know I pulled an EFAP there, but yeah, it's annoying. The puzzles are annoying, especially the runic ones. He'll later in the video he says a sentiment where if you forget some of the mechanics, like for example the exact one that he got stuck on, I got stuck on as well. I had to look it up, and call me, you know, a game journalist, whatever you want to say bad at the game, but I couldn't remember, you know, and maybe it was because I wasn't having as much fun with the game, so I wasn't paying attention to it as much, but I really did try my best to pay attention to it, because I really did like God of War 2018, and I was really excited for this one. But yeah, the puzzles just weren't, the mechanics that they added were forgettable for sure, and I think there was too many, I think was part of the issue as well, but that's just my opinion.
You look around the room and you throw your axe or you throw your blades. That's it. The difficulty ranges from extremely easy and brain dead to weirdly difficult just because you miss something obvious or you forget how a mechanic works. People made fun of me multiple times on the streams because I forgot a simple mechanic like runic arrows can explode fire, which made a puzzle way more difficult than it was supposed to be. But the puzzles just feel completely pointless and like padding because they feel less like puzzles and more like a game of I Spy. There's almost no actual thinking involved. And look, I know in the original God of War games it wasn't that much different. Just replace I Spy with block puzzles and you have essentially the same thing, right? But there were way too many puzzles in this game. Yes, some were just optional Norn chests. But do you really think I'm going to ignore this loot right in front of me? No. The game is 25.
And that's why I looked them up right there. I felt the same way. If I saw the Nordic chest or whatever, the rune chest or whatever it's called, I wanted to get it because I didn't want to have to circle back to increase my stats or my rage, like my health or my rage, you know? I didn't want to have to do that. I just wanted to get it when I was there. So if I was there and I couldn't figure out within the next like 15 to 20 minutes, more like 10 minutes. If I couldn't figure out in 10 minutes, I would definitely look it up. My girlfriend made fun of me every single time I did it too. She said, "You're cheating. You're bad at the game." So I've heard it all. If you wanna tell me that's nothing I haven't already heard. So, and she gave it to me every single time. So
5 hours long. Why the hell do you need this many puzzles, man? It makes no sense.
Possibly the only actual truly good point that you've made so far in this darn video.
Wait. I thought you said that he made a good point about the jumping, man. Like, let's not. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You know, maybe you forgot. You know, through editing and stuff like that. Like, that's fine. But you literally just said that he had a good point with the jumping. Just saying.
Is about the puzzles. Now, honestly, to tell you straight up, I think they should just get rid of the darn puzzles in the God of War games going forward.
But the puzzles are like a staple of the game as well. You know, if you remove them, they've been in all three of the old games. One of my aunts actually played the games. That's how I got introduced to the game. I got introduced to it pretty young. She let me borrow the games from her, and she loved the puzzles in them. That was one of the big... Prince of Persia, too. She liked the puzzles in those ones, the older ones, not the PS3 version, the Prince of Persia one. But the puzzles in those were what kind of drew her to the game. So I disagree with that because there is... I mean, I personally don't like the puzzles as much either, but there is people out there that do appreciate the puzzles. So I don't think that they should remove them, but if you think that, then... it is what it is, man. Like you're entitled to your own opinion.
Okay, like some of the puzzles in the older games weren't that good. Some of them were like too difficult, or they took too darn long, or there was too many. And it seems like God of War Ragnarok is about the same. Okay, I feel like they should just get rid of the darn puzzles, and instead they need to just add like some kind of like trials, or like some kind of like enemy encounter type of challenges, like they do in Bayonetta, where you get like a certain gear or loot once you do like these certain challenges, or you defeat a certain amount of waves of enemies or stuff like that. Something similar like how like Bayonetta or even like Doom Eternal does it.
And that's not even mentioning the backseat gaming from the NPCs. Every single one of the story mandatory puzzles, one of the characters will literally give you the solution if you take too long. Which doesn't sound so bad, right? Except, how long do you think is too long? Just take a guess. It's less than whatever you think it is. It's like 1 minute, dude. There have been several puzzles in the game where I was actively in the middle of solving it, and the character told me what to do. It pissed me off so goddamn much. Fire for something.
Can you turn it somehow?
Yeah, I can turn it, but I haven't even figured out the puzzle yet, woman. Give me a second.
You swing that torch to the other
Shush!
side and burn the branch blocking your
Shush!
path?
I'm gonna kill you. 10 out of 10!
To be honest, I didn't really realize this until after. To be honest, I really didn't realize this until Synthetic Man's review, and then playing the game more afterwards, like the side content and stuff. Yeah, it does get quite annoying, unfortunately. And so I do agree with him on this point for sure. But I don't think that it bothered everyone as much, because maybe I just tuned it out. I don't know what it was, but I didn't see it as big a problem as he did, for sure. But anyways.
It babies you told you exactly what to do. What the hell? Shut up. What are you doing? Oh my god. Listen, I've had my retard moments during these last few streams. I won't pretend I didn't. What? Stop. 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 I'm putting this in the video. I'm putting this in the fucking video. This is no, you can't defend this. You can't defend this. And do you want to know why the developers did this? You'll never believe it. It's because of Dark Side Phil, DSP. And if you don't know who it is, it's not worth explaining to you. But let's just say he's one of the worst gamers of all time. He is notoriously horrible at every video game he plays. And they fucking designed their game around him, of all people.
Now, this point, I pretty much 100% agree with. Spot on.
Wait. Again, man, you're contradicting yourself from earlier in the video. Again, it might just be you forgot about it in the editing and you didn't want to take it out type thing. But you said that he only made one good point. There was one previous. There was one that you said that he only made the good point. And now that there's this one that he made a good point and you agree with him. So consistency's a little bit off here. I know that's a big nitpick as well. But if we're going to nitpick Synthetic Man, I'm going to nitpick you. That's just, you get what you give type thing, you know? But let's continue.
Bravo, Synthetic Man. You've actually made a good point in this darn video. Well, 2 good points so far in this fucking video, okay? You've made so far 2 very good points that I 100% agree with. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I said that it's really dumb and really bad how your allies will just straight up give you the answer when you take too long, like literally within like a minute or so, like Synthetic Man and a bunch of other reviewers, like even Moist Critical himself said, they will just straight up give you the answer if you take too darn long. What is
There it is again. I know you're about to address it right now. I can hear it again, but there it is, man. I have to laugh at it a little bit. I'm sorry, because it's too fucking relatable, honestly. Like I find myself stumbling over my words probably too often. Honestly, you're better at it than I am. I'll give you that. I stumble over my words and throw out a lot of audio because I have to say what I said again and again and again because I just mumble over my words. I slur them. So I'll give you that, man. I think it's funny. I had a good giggle at it.
with me and saying the answer wrong? But yeah, 100% I will agree with that. And the fact that it seems like the devs listen to Dark Side Phil, of all things? Are you serious right now? They listened to Dark Side Phil, or like took advice from like how he plays games and implemented a feature to help him out? Yeah, that's gonna be a very big L right there for Santa Monica Studios. Like, seriously, that's like a very big L.
So now it's finally time to get to the story, as you can probably tell by how much...
Oh no, this is the part that I didn't really want to get into. I don't know if I want to touch on the story here. I guess we've made it this far, so we might as well keep pushing through this. But yeah, this is when Synthetic Man goes off the rails a little bit, and like he definitely has points in it, and but the problem is I've said this before in the comments before. I think I said it in a previous video before, but I don't like absolutes. I don't like absolutely anything. Like even talking to someone who deals in absolutes is frustrating to talk to. You know, it's absolute like this because usually it's hard to convince them otherwise. I do get that feeling from Synthetic Man a little bit, but at least it's an honest, raw opinion. You know, so I do appreciate that. But here we go. Let's buckle up. Let's get into the story here. I didn't like it either, but yeah, it's a little intense for sure.
Is left of the video, I had a lot to say, and most of it is not positive. As hard as I tried up until this point to be as fair as I possibly could to this game,
try almost all, okay? Oh boy, this is the part of the video where things really take a turn for the worse. This is the part of the video that made me even want to make this darn video on Synthetic Man. Oh no. I don't know if I'm going to be able to live through this part a second time because trust me, it gets very bad. You're probably wondering in your head, well, how bad does it get? Trust me, very bad. This is where he starts talking about all the darn woke or fascist type stuff of agenda or the whole, war going on with the darn U and the R over there on the other side of the world. Not going to say their names because I'm probably going to get this video demonetized if I do. But yeah, let's just get straight into the story part of the video.
I feel the same way, man. Honestly, I don't like this part of the video as much either. I definitely do think there's some truth in it for sure, but I agree. I definitely agree. He pushes it too far, and I'm mad enough to admit when someone I like has done something wrong or something that I don't agree with. So let's just get into it. Oh man, let's do this.
Video because it is completely awful.
I fucking hated this story. I honestly struggled to think of anything I actually liked about it. And I mean anything. And there's a reason that non-Sony fans call these games movie games, because they really are fucking movies. 70% of this game is some type of cutscene. 70% is not spent actually playing the fucking game.
You literally just showed a bunch of gameplay in your gameplay section of the video.
Okay. This is one of the things that I do agree with that he says. It's honestly super annoying, especially the yak part. Like that, I don't want to spoil it too much, but it literally makes me not want to play the story again. And I was literally feeling that way during it. Like, man, I'm not going to be able to experience this again 2 years down the road because I'm going to remember this part, and I'm not going to want to come back and relive the game anymore because, man, does it slog. Like holding forward, doing all these little menial tasks, these pointless tasks, it feels. These pointless tasks, my goodness, they feel like complete utter bullshit, and it's not fun. It's really not fun. Like collecting all the apples or whatever they are, the fruits. Like I honestly, I didn't even know why we were doing it. It just seemed like a way to shovel more dialogue in there. And yeah, I guess it is a story game, but it's just not very interesting in my opinion. Like the dialogue that's going on, it's very pointless in my opinion. But
and not only that, you made it about 17 minutes long of you talking about the darn gameplay. What is that supposed to be, like 70 to 80% of this darn video where you're trying to make a point here that, oh, well, I put 70 to 80% of gameplay section talking in my darn video because in the actual game, 70 to 80% of the game is just cutscenes.
well, yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it, man? Like, if a lot of the game is cutscenes and that's the majority of what to talk about, then wouldn't he have a lot to say about it? Like, that's a nitpick for sure. And I talked about it in the previous video. This video is quite nitpicky. I understand where you're coming from. You're trying to make content and everything, and you're trying to get your point across. But yeah, this is a nitpick for sure.
I don't even know.
Down to some of the QuickTime events not even being real QuickTime events, as in you cannot fail them. Okay, you don't want me to hit the prompt, right? Oh no, you have infinite time, don't you?
So this is an aspect that I felt was as well when I saw this as well, because I pressed the QuickTime event. I didn't even know that this happened. I thought that maybe something would happen afterwards. But yeah, nothing happens, and that it makes it feel unfinished. Like they didn't want to bother animating you dying or you getting your head chopped off or you falling to the ground or anything like that. Like it doesn't feel finished when stuff like this happens. It kind of feels like this section was more of an afterthought more than anything else. Also Artreus is, wow, that's a hard word. Artreus's combat felt unfinished. It just felt unbalanced. It felt overpowered almost, even when you're playing on the higher difficulties. And I think he talks about it in this as well, in the story, and maybe I'll touch on it again when it comes up.
Yeah, oh my god. 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, 12 out of 10. Every game Sony makes is a fucking masterpiece.
All right, Synthetic Man, you got another one over me. That's a actually really good point right there, too. How some of the darn QuickTime events in the cutscenes aren't even real QuickTime events that you can fail, like how it was in the older games. Now, that right there is actually really dumb as well. Why did they implement something like this where you can't fail the QuickTime events? It literally just looks so ridiculous and goofy. And yeah, I'd even call it immersion breaking. How you can't even fail the QuickTime events. Like, what the heck? You're literally just standing there and it's waiting for you to press the darn square button. That is so darn dumb.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Like I said earlier, it feels unfinished. It feels lazy. What's the point of even having it in if you can't fail it? I agree. I totally agree. Good point.
Now, honestly, I never thought God of War Ragnarok was a masterpiece in the first darn place. I thought it was a pretty good game, like, you know, like an 8.5 to maybe even a 9. Now, honestly, after seeing, you know, some stuff like this too, though, yeah, I'm bumping down just a little bit less, but that does not mean it ain't a good game still. Sure, it got some dumb moments and stuff like this in it, but that does not mean that the whole entire experience is completely unenjoyable.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. You make a solid point there. It doesn't really detract from the game. It is distracting when you have to go through it, and it doesn't help that it's... And I know people share this opinion as well, that this is one of the worst parts of the game. It's not just me. It's not just Synthetic Man. It's not a very fun part of the game. And when something like that happens in it, it just kind of magnifies it a little bit. And I think that's more what he was going for. But again, he's very abrasive. He comes off very condescending.
Normally, I would never spend over half a video talking about this story, but when over half the game is the story, I fear I have no choice. So here we go, the complete story breakdown of God of War Ragnarok. So Ragnarok is a direct sequel to the last one, to no surprise, but there has been a time skip. I think it's an undefined amount of time, so I'll just assume it's 4 years. Atreus has hit puberty, and no, that's not a specific...
I thought it was 4.5 years or something like that. I thought it was... I don't know, but maybe it's 3, because maybe he is 10 in the first game, but again, that's a nitpick.
Plot point, but it might as well be. It doesn't even matter because despite literally being given a waifu, he doesn't show any sexual interest in her whatsoever.
I'm sorry, what, Synthetic Man? Hold on. How old is Atreus supposed to be? He's supposed to be like a teenager? Okay, yeah, so what the fuck? Why did you bring up a point like this, talking about how Atreus has a waifu, but he doesn't show any sexual implications towards her? The dude is a teenager. Why are you worried about that? That is very fucking concerning, dude. Like, that's weird.
I agree. He did not choose his words very wisely here. He should have said that he didn't have any interest in her, or he wasn't attracted to her at all. Or he, like, that would have been like sexual. Yeah, that's not the best choice of words. It sounds very gross, I guess is the best way to put it. Just not the best way that he could have phrased that, for sure.
Why did you bring this up? What relevance did it have to this darn video?
It turns out in the time between games, Atreus and Kratos have literally just been hiding in their house, waiting for the world to end. I wish I was fucking joking. But yes, despite an apocalyptic winter coming to Midgard, the heroes do nothing. It turns out that Freya has been trying to kill Kratos for the last 4 years, but despite knowing exactly where he lives, she somehow has failed every time. Despite the game trying to tell us that Freya is totally a threat, guys, she's a super badass, she could probably even take Kratos.
Okay, so either you actually didn't play the game and you're just looking at cutscenes and stuff, or watching somebody do a gameplay, walkthrough, and then you're just not paying attention enough to the darn walkthrough to even understand the story, or even just miss basic fucking cues. Because the reason why she couldn't get to Kratos and Atreus, despite knowing where they lived for the past 3 darn years during Fimbulwinter, is because they had magical barrier chimes set up that prevented outsiders from getting in.
So the reason why I don't know, I'm kind of mixed on this is because she was the one, I don't know if you guys remember, she was the one in the last game that actually taught them about the stave, because she had a magical barrier around her tortoise house, So my thinking would be that maybe that since she knows how to make them, that maybe she would be able to break into them. That's my thinking, or that would be a possibility. Or maybe it would have even been cooler, instead of attacking them on the way back. Or maybe they're unbreakable, I don't know. But to me, that would be more interesting if she broke in, attacked them at their house, or made a plan to draw them out. I agree with Synthetic Man here. It was not a good plan, but at the same time, I guess it makes sense. If he can't break into the stave or anything like that, that would be the best time to catch them, is on the way back, or when they're outside of the stave.
Are you serious right now? Did you actually pay attention? Well, considering...
I mean, I watched a little bit of the stream videos, and yeah, no, he really wasn't paying attention. I'll give you that. He was definitely not giving this game his full undivided attention. But then again, he was streaming as well, and I assume, I don't stream myself, but I would assume that it would be hard to play a story game and interact with your audience at the same time, especially when the downtime is the scenes type thing. I don't know. That's just how I feel.
Everything that you say about the story later on in this video, no, it doesn't seem like it. Either that, or you just completely disregarded it, because everything in your mind that has females and stuff in it is some clear woke propaganda type stuff. And that's what completely blotted your darn mind out from actual logic and reason.
I would have beaten you.
What?
Earlier, if Atreus hadn't been there.
Perhaps.
We could go again, find out for certain.
I would rather not.
I'll bet you wouldn't.
So the story really begins with Fenrir dying. You can consider this the first of many Ryan Johnson-esque subversion moments in this story. Because if you know anything about Ragnarok from actual Norse mythology, you know Fenrir's a big part of it. The game also tries really hard to tug at your heartstrings here, but we literally just met this wolf. We've never seen him before, so it doesn't work. Literally, the first 20 minutes are one giant cutscene. You don't even really get to play the game unless you count engaging with a QuickTime event and moving the analog stick left or right as gameplay.
See, I disagree with them here, and maybe I'm just a pussy, I don't know, but when that dog died, or Fenrir died, I got really sad, because I just pictured my doggy dying, and that made me sad, I'm not gonna lie. So I disagree with them here. It did get me a little bit in the feels, I'll be honest. Maybe that makes me a pussy, like I said, but it did. It hit me right here. You can't see me, but I'm pointing right in my feels right now.
Atreus runs off into the woods. Kratos chases him. Turns out he can now turn into animals. Yes, the biggest character development for Atreus is that he is now a furry.
I'm sorry, was that supposed to be funny, Synthetic Man? Was that you trying to do a little cool quipper joke? I mean, so because Atreus turned into a bear because he couldn't control his emotions, he became a furry.
Okay, come on. That's a little bit funny, just taking a little dig at furries. Come on. There's a little bit of funniness to that. Can we not poke fun at each other anymore? Is that not allowed? I don't know, man. It's maybe everyone's just getting soft. Like I'm not as old as Synthetic Man is, but he definitely goes into that a lot in his content. How this newer generation is soft. That's why he hates Zoomers as well. Because we can't really say anything anymore. We can't really make jokes, which it is depressing, unfortunately. But come on, man. He was just poking a little bit of fun. Like, no hard feelings, you know? Like, and I feel like that is a misconception with Synthetic Man a lot. Like, he is just poking fun. And maybe it's the way that he comes across that makes it seem not funny. I don't know. Maybe it's his delivery, but I giggled at it. It wasn't like a laughing out loud, type thing. But yeah, I had a little giggle at it.
You've heard it here, people. You've heard it right here from Synthetic Man himself. I didn't come up with this. Apparently, turning into a bear makes you a furry. In God of War Ragnarok. I don't even know where we're going with this. Keep in mind, this isn't the most ridiculous crap that he says about the story.
Bro, like I said, it's a joke. It was a joke. It obviously was a joke. It's not a ridiculous statement unless you view it as something that he said as legitimate criticism. It was a joke.
It gets worse.
And so Kratos now determines that his son can't be trusted since he can't control his emotions or something. Remember this plot point for later. Then Odin and Thor finally show up, and honestly the game could have just started here. And this is the second major point of subversion, because despite God of War 2018 building up Odin and especially Thor as being like these badass super powerful guys, Odin looks like a frail old man and sounds like a snake oil salesman.
You know who I am? Back before winter set in, there were some misunderstandings. Regrettable ones. But I think we all have a better idea of who we're dealing with. Now, what you did to his boys. Self-defense.
And some people have implied that he's supposed to be a Trump allegory, but I will give the developers the benefit of the doubt this time and just say he's supposed to be some generic fascist smooth talker, I guess.
This is what I was talking about, people. You've heard it right here. This game contains fascist elements.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he say other people were saying that he was? And I mean, people do think Trump is a fascist. Like, that's for sure. I don't want to touch on the political stuff too much. It's going to be hard in this video because he does bring it up a lot, and it does get a little unbearable at times because I don't watch game reviews to talk about politics. I go to a political channel for sure, and that's why I'm not going to talk about it, because I consider myself a game channel or a game review channel, or I want to be a game review channel. I've talked about that in the comments before. I want to get to that point where I can just review games and people actually care for what I have to say instead of having to react to people reacting to people's content, like I don't know, man. It's I see how he phrased it as that's what other people were saying, that there's fascist elements to it. I didn't see it as he said that, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'll take this out in the editing stage. Who knows?
Apparently Odin is supposed to be some kind of fascist smooth talker, or heck, his audience was even trying to make it seem like he's a Trump allegory. I don't even know where we're going with this. It gets worse. And the funny thing is that he complains about the look and how Odin talks, or his personality and stuff. Odin is supposed to be conniving, cunning, manipulative. Okay, he's not supposed to be overbearing and menacing like Zeus. All right, you're literally told throughout God of War 2018 that Odin is not to be trusted, and that Odin is well, God darn it, I'm over here losing my mind with this darn Synthetic Man bull crap going on throughout this video, man. Like, you're literally told throughout God of War 2018 that Odin is conniving and manipulative, and that he's not meant to be trusted, and that he got eyes and ears everywhere, okay? Like, Mimir himself literally tells you, do not trust Odin at all. Oh my God. And then the whole thing about him being some kind of Trump allegory or some kind of fascist smooth.
I mean, that's fair, man. Like, if you think that that's satisfying how he was depicted in the game, that's fine. But I personally too, I thought it was very underwhelming. it kind of seemed like my grandpa, you know, but maybe again, that's what it's supposed to be, like a grandpa in disguise, you know, the conniving, cunning part. But I felt like it was not very, I feel like it subverted my expectations. I know that Synthetic Man uses that term a lot, but yeah, it definitely, it wasn't what I was expecting. I was building him up as something different in my mind, personally.
Talker is just, I can't. Let's move on.
Thor is a fat fuck alcoholic who has daddy issues. We don't learn most of that until later, but we might as well get it out of the way now. And God, I just fucking hate this design. Anyone who says he looks like a strongman has never actually seen a strongman. Even Eddie Hall at his fattest had more muscle definition than this.
Thor looks like he could absolutely whoop that guy's ass, okay? I'm sorry. Not only that, what is with this design right here? This is literally how I would imagine Thor looked like in the Norse mythology, because Thor is an alcoholic, okay? He's fat, chubby, and he's very strong. Like, come on now. Not only...
Yeah, I agree. I didn't agree with Synthetic Man. I know that was kind of hard, but I agree with you. I don't agree with Synthetic Man here. I think Thor was perfectly depicted because, yes, in Norse mythology, he is fat. He's not attractive at all. He's just a dick, you know? Like, he goes around, you know, pillaging, destroying, like, he's a destroyer. So I think the depiction of Thor was quite accurate, for sure. Like, I agree with you here. But that being said, I don't think he looks like a strong man either. I don't know if necessarily he looks like he would beat the fuck out of a strong man. You know, I don't know. That, in my opinion, that's like, he's a little too fat. Maybe like if there's muscle definition under it, but he doesn't look like it, like, first glance, you know, like the strong man, Eddie Hall, like he said, he's definitely got him a lot more muscle definition. So I don't necessarily agree with you to an extent, but for sure his depiction, in my opinion, was spot on. All right. I was going to try to get through this all in one sitting here, but unfortunately I'm running out of time here. My girlfriend's going to be home pretty soon from work, and I got to start making dinner and stuff with her. But if, again, I know I said this in the last video, I didn't really want to have to do a part 3 and milk this badly, but if it gets a good reception, I'll do a part 3, and I'll finish out the last 30-ish minutes that we got here. Maybe it's 40. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate all the engagement that I've had on my previous videos. The good, the bad, the negative, the hate. I really appreciate it. Just keep on bringing it. I can handle it. But that being said, please like, subscribe. I really want to get to 500 subscribers just so I can start interacting with my audience. That's why I'm pumping out as many videos as I possibly can right now. I just really want to do this as much as possible. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy having the conversations with you guys. I really enjoy responding to your comments, seeing your takes, hearing you out. Please try to keep it somewhat civil. I do appreciate those comments more, but if you just want to shit all over me, I completely understand. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.